Hi there, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and I want to welcome you to my channel today. This is a Thursday, so that means that we're doing kind of a beginner kind of card, and we're doing a joyful card that I've kind of stepped up a little bit. And I apologize I didn't get it scheduled ahead of time. I thought I did, and then when I went in there to click to go live, it wasn't scheduled. So I apologize for that. I didn't intend for it to be unscheduled. But hopefully you guys find me and you learn to make this card with me because it's adorable and I can't wait to share it with you. This card uses what we call a wobble. And so that's one of the things I'm going to have on my Amazon store. Have you been over to Amazon and seen my storefront? In my Amazon storefront, I share with you a lot of things that I use with my cards that are not Stampin' Up! Related. It's something Stampin' Up! Does not sell, but I still use them in my cards and I recommend them. So make sure that you check out that store, and it is an affiliate link. So anything you buy on Amazon, whether it's on my list or not, I get a little bit of a thank you from them. So I appreciate your business through there, and I will make sure the wobbles are on there as soon as this video is over. But it is just behind his head, and it's just a little piece of plastic that just gives it a little bit of extra something fun. For this card, we are using the Cutest Cows bundle. And so that includes the stamp set and punch. For my beginner series, I'm trying not to use dies because I know not everybody has a die cutting machine. So we're going to be using two of our fun builder punches. And our builder punches are meant to create something. Like this creates the cow, and this one creates the little bumblebee. This would be his body. This would be the wings. On this, the cow body, then the cow head. This could be a little piece of his tail. This is the nose. And these are horns that you could put behind his head to make him a bull. So there are lots of little pieces, but we're only going to use the head and the body today. And then we're not actually even making a bee. We're using the bee's body as a speech bubble. Have you guys thought about doing that with it? Just creating a little speech bubble out of the body? It's a great idea for using, your punches to their full extent. So we're using those punches, that stamp set, and then we are starting with a card base that is long ways. So what I mean by that is it started out as an 8.5 by 11, but I cut it at the 4 1/4, which was halfway down the middle. So I ended up with two of them this size. So this is 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. And then we're actually going to mess with that a little bit. For the inside, I have a standard layer, and that's going to be 4 by 5 1/4. Then for the outside, for backing of my barn door, we have a piece of basic black, 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then a piece of basic white, 3 inches by 4 1/2. I have just a little strip of some green I'm going to put on the inside. This is 1.5 inches, and it needs to be at least 4 inches wide to go on the inside. Sorry, I apologize. I've still got a bit of a frog in my throat. I had a surgery, a week ago now, and they had to suction out my throat, and man, they did something weird. I have a scrap of basic black that I'm using as a template, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. I have the scrap for our speech bubble and a scrap for stamping our cow. Okay, so those are going to be all of our pieces. Oh, and I'm also going to need the embossing folder. Okay, for this one, I'm using the Timber 3D embossing folder, and that helps give us our wood look. Okay, so when I mount my stamps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them inside of this little template. And it'll go both ways. There's 2 bodies inside the stamp set, and they face opposite directions. So, if you were doing the other one, you'd go this way. It might cut off the udder, but it will go both ways. And then I'm just setting it in there where it would go. And then I'm going to set the head in where that would go. And the idea is now I can pick them up with the block. And then when I stamp them on my scrap paper, that's totally going to fit. I'm going to use Memento black ink. So anytime you have kind of these builder punches where it's going to punch out more than one shape, it's best to use the little template like that, because then you can feed it into your punch and it will punch them both out at the same time. And so you're going to be wasting less of your cardstock because it's going to punch the head and the body regardless of what you have in there. So we might as well make the most of it, right? And again, I'm using scrap paper, so it may not be long enough. I kind of did an okay job of holding it in there. But if I had this, if this was shorter and I wanted to have more control over it, putting a piece of Post-it note on there will allow me to wiggle it around and get it to exactly where I want it before I punch it out. Okay, and I'm going to do a Holstein cow. So I'm going to use a basic black marker. And I'm going to color this in. And I could do this with the blends or the markers, either one. My Stampin' blend and black is going a little bit dry. I need to order some new ones. So I'm going to use my other marker for this because we're not really going to notice that it's, what do I want to say? Water-based versus alcohol-based ink once I get it colored, because we're not really doing any blending. We're just kind of filling it in. I want to be sure to use Stampin' blends when I do his face because I want to be able to see the stamping behind where I'm going to color, and they're a little more see-through. Whereas on these dots on the body, I really don't care to see what's behind it because we're coloring in black. Let's do a little bit of his head here. Or I guess it'd be a her, I don't know. Because I'm not putting horns on it. And then, let's see, let's take this is a light. So this is one of our Stampin' blends that are in the skin tones. And I just grabbed it because it's a nice pale pink. But you could use Bubble Bath, which would be a pink, or you could use Petal Pink, which is a little more orangey pink. Either would work. Okay, so he's all ready to go. Now, you'll notice on here, like I said, we're going to be doing some dry embossing. Yes, I did have a good visit with my son. He's actually still here. So that's kind of exciting. Probably one of the reasons that I totally spaced going out there and scheduling this. I thought I did, and I don't know, we got busy and I didn't. But anyway, yes, we are having a lot of fun. Not really doing anything other than hanging out, but I love that. Okay, so I'm going to use my larger embossing folder or my larger cut and emboss machine, because I'm using a larger folder. So I have a folder that needs the full 6-inch opening. So I can't use my little one with it. I am using plate 1 and plate 4. Oh, and you know what I want to do first? I want to cut this off. Sorry, I got to step ahead because I'm going to actually do that too. I'm going to cut the front of my card base in half. So I'm cutting this at 2 3/4 to get this part. Okay, then I'm going to take some basic white that has some adhesive sheet on the back. And I'm going to cut a few strips that are 1/4 inch wide. And I wanted to do this before embossing so that these will be embossed too. So I'm going to run it from corner to corner, like a barn door. I'm kind of watching on the back, making sure that they're in the corner. Snipping off any excess, and then we're going to do the other way. And then I'll bring my embossing machine back. Oops. And I got it off a little bit from the corner, but I think we'll be okay. Okay. Nobody's going to notice but me, right? Okay, so let's bring this back, as I said, and we're going to stick our barn door into the folder. And then I want this other part of our card, I want this part dry embossed as well, but I don't want the back of it embossed. So for this part, what I'm going to do is just feed it in up to my score line. Okay, so I'm going to let my score line be exactly where that edge of the folder is, and then close that down. And then I'm going to put plate number 4 over the top and run this through. Ooh. I can't see it. Darn it. Okay. So there's our barn door. We bring this back. And I'm going to shove this in a little further so that the top plate grabs it better. And they will both go through at the same time. I'm just having a little bit of issue because I'm doing this at a bit of an angle to get it on camera. Okay. So here you can see I've got the front of our card dry embossed and the back is not. So we just partially embossed. But yet this is fully embossed. Now I wanted this to be, kind of popped up a little bit. And so that's why I'm going to mount it on white and then on black. And if you like these barn door kind of cards, you might want to check out my tutorial store. In my tutorial store, I have a tutorial bundle where I have used just this bundle of the cutest cows and made a whole bunch of cards with it. And several of them are the barn door kind of look. They're super cute. There are also videos, but if you like printed tutorials, they're for sale. Now I'm just putting adhesive across the bottom. And then I'm laying this down, butting up to the edge. And I went ahead and I let it run over the edge because I'd rather have it be too long than too short. And I can always come back in and trim from the back side. And I always do it from the back because I like the fact that there's the color differentiation there, so I can see what I'm doing and where my line needs to cut. And then I'm going to do my interior sentiment. So outside's going to say, it's your special day. And inside, we're going to say, milk it for all it's worth. And I'm going to do mine a little high. That's not something I normally do. Normally I'd put it right in the middle, but I wanted this to have a little more room for writing a longer message. I just want to let you know that that's an option. You don't always have to do things exactly the same every time. If you need more room for writing, just adjust where you put your sentiment. You could even put a white panel up here and put either more writing space or your sentiment up there. But this is ready to go inside, and then we're ready to work on our cow. See how quickly this is all coming together? Okay, so we have our cow, and I'm going to go ahead and, stick him down directly. Let's see. On this one, I actually sponged a little around the edge. So you might want to think if you want to do that. I didn't like it in the red. I think if I was to do it over again, I might do it in brown, like maybe a pecan pie, something like that, because then it would look dirty. It wouldn't look, I don't know. The red just didn't do it for me. But if you had done pecan pie, it would look like it just got dirty, which happens on a farm, right? Okay, for his head, as I said, we're going to do these wobbles, and as soon as this video is over, I will go find some on Amazon and link it in my store. Oops. That will go back together. I just need to snap it together. I wasn't being careful enough in pulling off the sticky. I'm going to peel off this one side of the sticky. And I'm going to place it behind. And then I'm going to peel off this other section. And I'm going to stick that to the card. Now, there's some debate on, whether or not the solid sticker needs to be attached to the card and then the ring being on the front. I've never noticed it make that much of a difference, but isn't it cute the way he little wobbles here? Okay, got a little bit of extra glue on there. So now we're all ready for our sentiment. And as I said, we're going to do that on this little strip. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp it after punching because I want to be sure it's centered. And you can do it either way, I suppose. I can do it this way. But, yeah, see, I wanted it this way. Sometimes it's easier to stamp afterwards if you want to know like what direction you want it to go. Okay, and for both of these, I already had them mounted before we got started, but before mounting any of my stamps that have words, one of the things I will do is put it down on my grid paper, making sure that it is straight on a line. And then I'm going to align my block straight on a line. so that when I set it down, I'm going to have the best chance of picking this up and keeping it straight on my block. And so that works regardless of whether or not you have a long set of words or a short set of words. But just utilize the grid paper because that's what we use it for. And hopefully you all know that the grid paper is something you can purchase. It's not a demonstrator exclusive. It's never very obvious in the catalog, but if you search grid paper online, it's pretty easy to find. Okay, so for this, I'm going to put some adhesive. Let's see. I don't want it where it's going to hang off. So I do not want adhesive kind of in this corner. So let's keep it up top. And there we go. There is our finished card. So there we are, 20 minutes into this and we're finished. Isn't that amazing how quickly that all came together? It looks like it's something complicated and it's not. That's one of the things I love about our punch bundles and just like changing things up just a little bit. So it is still a beginner card, but it's not boring. So hopefully you love it as much as I do. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. I will pick a winner for our cross that we did on Monday, and I will announce that next Monday when we do the other cross. I had done kind of a shutter card cross on Monday, and next Monday we're going to do the one that's a pillar. Somebody asked me to do that one, and I found two. So I wasn't sure which one they wanted, and we're going to do both of them. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here on Monday for another live. Don't forget to subscribe and shop my online store. Thanks. Bye.